Hi, I'm Mike Browne, an internationally recognised photographer and trainer. This tutorial is an excerpt from my Masterclass in Photography online course. If you like my teaching, click the top right of your screen at any time to get 7 more completely free lessons from the 105 which make up the course. I mean, why wouldn't you? Semi-auto modes are brilliant for those times when you're photographing something fast moving. You haven't got time to mess around with settings or to think too much or fiddle with things. Photographing life. The auto exposure lock is really useful because in those situations you'll be using a semi-auto mode for the most part. Now, your camera doesn't know how bright or dark something is, does it? We've already been through that. Look down here, we've got a bright end to this tunnel. I love these lines, I love the graffiti. But look, it's kind of making that silhouetted, kind of sinister looking person at the end look even more sinister. I think it would look great if they were coming up here with a bright background. Street photography. I love a bit of street photography. This is a great example. And that's actually our sinister cameraman Joe. Now imagine I was walking along here. I saw this sinister person coming towards me and think, I want to quickly whip up the camera and get a shot. Let's try it. Joe, can you just come towards me? My camera is in P mode, fully auto. He's marching towards me. I'm walking this way and I go, he looks interesting. Up with the camera, frame it up and take the shot. Thanks, mate. Now let's have a look. There's nothing wrong with that shot, but I think it would be more interesting if we made the brightness bloom behind him so it's a much stronger looking image. So what we'll do is do it with the auto exposure lock so that I can lock an exposure from somewhere else, maybe down here. Look, think about it. The light down here is darker. This is the light on my face. That's what I want to expose for, and that will be the light on his face. We don't want to expose for the bright background. We're going to let it bloom. We're going to let it blow away a bit. So let's try this again. I'll see if we can talk you through it. Joe, go for it. He's walking along. I'm walking along. I see Joe. Up with the camera. Take a light reading from down there by locking that exposure. Up with the camera. Look, you can see the difference. Focus and catch him. Look at that. That's really pretty cool. What do you think, mate?
Yeah,
if we look at the first one, you see how much darker it is. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's not great. But if we look at the next one, we've made more of that bloom of light. Now, I didn't even look to see what the exposure was when I pressed the button. If we look at the bottom there, you can see the camera changed it. It took the light from back there. That was a 300th of a second. When we took the light from down there, in this shot, that's a 52th of a second, 1/52nd of a second. And that is why it's so much brighter. But it's got a lot more mood, a lot more atmosphere. I know people will say it's bad, wicked and wrong to burn out highlights because you'll go to prison. But is it? I mean, I really think that's a great shot. And here's another one we took earlier on when we were doing a rehearsal. Have a play with your auto exposure lock, because if you like doing this sort of photography or anything that's fast moving, it can really help you master getting the exposure where you want to get the mood and the feeling with it. Because remember, exposure is, as far as I'm concerned, part of your composition. How do you want your picture to look and feel? And exposure is part of that.